One more myth I want to talk about, because this always goes back and forth, is the myth of female attraction. And sorry to put, deliberately on female, but that's where most people talk about it. Get your guys' thoughts on that. If it's real, if not, why not? If so, why is it?
Yeah, I'd love to share on that first, representing all the neuroscientists out there, is that when we change our brain performance patterns, there's a really cool book that I always tell people about. It's not an easy read, though. I will warn you. It's a little heavy, but it's cool. It's called Power versus Force. It's Dr. David Hawkins. He's an MD, PhD. And basically in there, he talks about our electromagnetic field and what we're putting off. And what we put off, shame is actually the lowest resonance pattern of an electromagnetic field. And we know that porn use is born out of and perpetuates a shame cycle. So you're resonating at super low energy. And the way it plays out is social anxiety, lack of eye contact, just not feeling confident. As you go through a transformational journey, the reason you feel better is you're raising the resonance frequency of your electromagnetic field. And you can go all the way up to 500 is love and peace. And in between there, even if you raise yourself from 20, which is shame, to 30, which is guilt. Shame is I am bad. Guilt is I'm doing something I don't want to. I'm doing something that is bad for me. Even if you raise your energy a little bit, you become more attractive. So as you move through this journey, you're becoming more attractive literally by the minute. And so going back to the 90-day myth, yes, it could take you a while to really, bust out of this thing entirely, but minute by minute, you're becoming more attractive to not only women, and people have doubted me on this one. And then if you look at YouTube, I have a couple videos on how to attract the perfect partner. People be like, I thought she was nuts, but I've been 100 days porn free and I just met the, person of my dreams. So, you have more friends, you get like-minded people. There's nothing bad that'll come from it.
I want to jump on this because my own personal experience, absolutely, because my whole life was filled of just hookups day in, day out. Why would I ever want to be with one person when I could have multiple people over in a day, multiple people at a time, whatever the craziest stuff I could ever mention or have done. But after I went through this transformation, and why I think on a layman's term, why it works, when you pull porn and the over-sexualization out of your mind of talking to somebody or going out to meet someone to get laid, one thing that happens is you lose a lot of motivation with porn to the point where you don't even want to go out. You don't want to go meet people. You don't want to even hang out with friends. So that motivation level goes down. That's a lot of the dopamine we talk about. But as you start pulling porn out of your life, you sincerely become more present. And if you're not have this filter of over-sexualizing or being a sexual situation with this person, you truly become interested in the other person. And so it shows. If you're not thinking about sex, if porn isn't driving that factor, you become present, become interested, sincerity. So all the authenticity starts coming out. And again, that's what's going to attract somebody. And in my own life, before I started my transformation, I met an amazing woman. We went on a few dates. And, she probably thought I was a weird creep because of some things that porn had me do and the experience that I had when I would also have other women come to my house. That's how things went.
I don't want to know. I can imagine.
You don't want to know. And I have videos on it. So, but we had a good time. Time passed. It was shortly after that I went through my transformation. I stopped porn. It was a year and a half later. She and I, the first time we met was on Tinder. A year and a half later, this person popped up on Tinder after I had gone through my transformation and I had been on a few dates. And I thought, whatever happened to that girl? She was really cool. Paid the $3 to connect with her again. Best $3 of my life. She is now my
why
fiance.
are you still on Tinder? We can talk about that later.
Yeah. It was a year and a half later of being single and having gone through my transformation and stopped porn. We connected again. We went out. We were inseparable, and we've now been engaged. We've been together 4 years now and been engaged for 3. So yeah, you show up differently and people show up differently. You start to see the amazing qualities for people for who they are once it's gone. So it's absolutely real.
I'd say it's not a myth, but you should also remove your expectations about that. So you're not just quitting porn and then sitting there waiting for women to flock to you. You
got to get out there.
Present.
Yeah. But hopefully it gives you the motivation to get out. That's one of the things, because that's a lot of people we're going to hear is, man, I don't have motivation. I don't have motivation for the hobbies I used to do. I used to love sports. I used to love music. I used to love doing all these things. The older you get, man, that porn, that dopamine spike is the drug level you need to just feel normal, and it's not. When you remove it out of there, you start to reset your baselines and you start to enjoy things again in life.
I was just going to say it has everything to do with your brain because, you said dopamine's the motivation neurotransmitter. I call it the pleasure seeking. Mm-hmm. So like if you're out in the world having dinner with someone, they're not giving you that much pleasure. So your brain's going, where can I get pleasure right now? Mm-hmm. But then when you rewire your brain, you have lower levels of dopamine. So you can find the pleasure in a lovely dinner with someone you enjoy. And you're getting tons of serotonin for happiness and oxytocin for connection.
Yeah.
And that becomes, the secret sauce.
And I think lowering that baseline is absolutely key, and understanding why your brain is doing that, because and it leads into delayed gratification as well. Because as you just mentioned, Trish, you're absolutely right. The dopamine, the term I heard is always looking for faster way for higher reward. And have that self-control over that long-term gratification, because that's the rabbit hole you're going to go down in any direction, is trying to get better gratification with less effort.
Yeah. And every time you do it, you're damaging your brain. That's what people don't understand, is that every time you go for those high levels of dopamine, you're decreasing functioning in the frontal lobe and desensitizing the reward centers in the midbrain. So they will constantly need those high levels of pleasure more and more and more. And your executive function, which is delayed gratification or working small pieces towards a larger goal, is knocked offline. And you're not able to think, you're not able to, work, you're not able to do projects, you're not able to, think of a couple dates moving towards sex instead of sex within the next 15 minutes of meeting someone,
Edging.
We can talk about that for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that's a lot of people say, oh, I'm edging, I'm not orgasming.